Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. My name is Scarlet Storm and today we will be looking over all the reveals that Hasbro did on April 4th for the Hasbro Pulse Transformers live stream. Now, they stated that these figures are going to be some of the biggest reveals for 2023 and I kinda agree with them on this. Now, I recently did a video about everything that came out the past weeks or so that video will be in the description down below. First up, a small recap of something that recently just got leaked. It is the War Dawn 2-pack. Now, as I stated in my previous video, it's going to come with Ariel and Dion, and if you want more on this subject, I would suggest looking at the video I made. Yes, I'm shamelessly plugging myself, so what? But all in all, I think the 2-pack is good. I may just be getting the 2-pack just for Dion and so I can add Dion to my collection with Orion packs and Alpha Trion. Because to me, the Ariel figure looks too masculine and all in all, it's not really that good. I may just be keeping it just for the gun it comes with. Because if you look at it, it's the original gun Elita 1 had in G1. Now, for the vehicle modes, I think both of their vehicle modes are okay because they're both retools of different characters. Now, for Dion, it's the same cup mold as Orion Pax. It's just retooled a little bit in the front, and it comes with two different things on the back. Now, I think this makes sense because if you look at War Dawn, Orion Pax and Dion had similar vehicle modes. And for Ariel, she never really transformed in the show, so it was up to grabs, and her character model doesn't look like it would actually transform into anything. So I think retooling her from the RC mold was good, but I think it would have been better if they chose the actual RC mold that's in the 86 line. Now, it was either Mark or Ben who said this. I don't remember, so don't quote me on this. They said they may be adding more characters to the whole War Dawn stuff, so I would look out for that in the future. I don't know which characters they would do, but I hope it's like Dropkick or Shatter, which they did appear in War Dawn, so that would be a perfect homage to it. After the whole War Dawn recap, we got the two new Core Class figures. Now, for the Core Class figures, we get two more of the Dinobots, which means we only are one away from completing Volcanicus, and maybe getting a Dino King retool out of it, which I know will happen. Now, the first Dinobot I want to talk about is Swoop. Now, I think this Swoop figure looks amazing, and you can't tell me otherwise. It has articulation, unlike the other Dinobots, which means it's a first for it. And all I gotta say is the Pterodactyl mode looks amazing also. They also joked about it going alongside the 86 Dinobots, which I would love to see in someone's collection. After Swoop, we have a new character named Scar. Now, Scar has appeared in the Transformers series before. He was in the IDW comics during the Monstrosity trilogy. Now, Scar is the medic of the Dinobots, which I think is pretty cool. We always need a medic to any good team. Like, you always have the fighter, the thinker, the medic, and the brutes. And I think Scar goes along perfectly with the Dinobots. They also said they may be making an 86 counterpart for him, and I will enjoy that. Now, Scar turns into Ankylosaurus, which I think looks amazing, even though it does have as much articulation as I wanted to, because I think Swoop set a good example for it. But other than that, it looks amazing, and I just can't wait to finally complete Volcanicus after we get the final Dinobot, Snarl. They also said we're going to get a package refresh of the Core Class Starscream. After the Core Class figures, we have the new Deluxe Class figures, and oh boy, I love them so far. First up, we have Beachcomber. Now, this pacifist actually comes with a small accessory, which is a bird that you can actually see him hold in the Golden Lagoon episode. Now, even though Beachcomber is a pacifist, he will do anything for the Autobot cause, so he comes with a small machine gun, which actually becomes the front grille of his vehicle mode, which I think is good vehicle storage for his weapon. Now, another thing is that it kind of reminds me of an upscale version of his Power of the Primes figure, which I actually have, and I may actually sell after I get this figure. After Beachcomber, we have everyone's favorite Autobot bounty hunter, DevCon. Now, originally, I thought it was a whole new mold in general, but if you look at the feet and how the tooling is, it's actually a retool of the 86 Blur mold, which I think was perfect for this figure. They also got rid of those things that were on the back of Blur's arms for the DevCon figure, which I think is perfect because those things just wobbled around after a couple transformations. And on the back of his legs, he has these two little red pipe things that can actually combine with his guns, as either it was Mark or Ben said they would. Now, even though I like this figure, I think the vehicle mode for him is kind of lackluster. Because, as I said, it's going to be a retool of the 86 Blur mold, so it's essentially going to have the same transformation. And without the arm things on it, it looks kind of bland. All it does is really hide its hands now. And boom, it's the vehicle mode. But other than that, I think DevCon is an amazing figure, and I'm definitely going to buy him. After DevCon, we have a new Junkion figure called Axle Grease. Now, Axle Grease is going to be a Decepticon, unlike the other Junkions, which they were Autobots. Now, I think this is a good decision, so we can have some diversity with the Junkions. Now, I think this was the main throw-off in the whole stream, because in the poster, it showed a whole lot of characters in the traditional Junkion colors. But this comes with different colors of pink and blue. Now, they said this was an inverted Junkion, so I think this was perfect for Decepticon colors. Now, Axle Grease is going to be the first female Junkion to get an actual figure, and I'm all for it now. So we have a bad girl in our midst. Now, her head is going to be based off of Nancy from Season 3 of the original G1 series. Now, I think this would be perfect so you can have Rickgar and Nancy essentially being together on the same shelf finally. Now, this figure is going to be a partial retool of the Scraphook figure that we got in Wave 1. And I'm all for it because if you look at her vehicle mode, it literally has an engine sticking out of it and it doesn't have the hook part at the end. But even though it's going to still come as a melee weapon. After Axle Grease, we have the Voyager class figures, and the first one that they showed was Dirge. Now, Dirge is going to be a re-release of his original figure that he got in Earthrise. It was an Amazon exclusive, and a whole lot of people didn't get it since it was hard to find, and if they did find it, it was way overpriced. Now, I say this is a good way to get it if you never had it like I never had it. But there's not that much to say since we already know about the figure and we already had it before. After Dirge, we have another Voyager class figure, which is Nemesis Leo Convoy. Now, I think the Nemesis Leo Convoy came a little too soon because in Wave 1, we just got Leo Convoy. And the only thing they changed about it is that they're adding a blaster to it. Now, they said they were originally going to scuff up the Maximal logo on it, but they ended up not doing it, which I say is a bummer. I kind of wish they added more colors to it because if you remember for Kingdom, they made a Nemesis Optimus Primal and they splashed in different colors like purple and some random other colors. So I wish they would have done that for this and it would have looked amazing with it. Like you could have added some of it on the arms to break up all the different shades of black and boom, you done it. You made a perfect Nemesis Leo Convoy. After that disappointment, we have the big boy of the whole entire wave, the Armada Universe Megatron. Because essentially, he is the big boy for the entire wave since we won't be getting Armada Optimus for a while now. Which is kind of disappointing, but I understand it to some degree. Now, about the Armada Megatron, I think it looks amazing. But there's something about the head and waist to me because the head looks like it's painted on and the waist rotation, it kind of looks weird because he can actually do the thing that the original toy can do. Basically turn his turrets to the front. Now, they did state that this character is going to have future compatibility with something else. So that could mean anything, but most likely they're going to be making mini-cons for this line. Another thing I noticed is for his left hand, it's open like the original toy. So does that mean he's going to have the knife in his hand? Which I think would be good for toy accuracy, but I don't think it will work logistically. For vehicle mode, he turns into a tank like he's supposed to. And I gotta say, it looks really accurate to the original figure and character model. And all in all, I think this figure looks amazing. And I might buy this figure so I could put it on my top 10 figures for 2023. After Armada Megatron, we have the figure everybody's been wanting since it was seen on the artwork for Metroplex. It is the Nemesis. Now, the Nemesis is the original ship the Decepticons used to get to Earth alongside the Ark, which that was the Autobots' main ship. This figure is a prototype, so it may not look accurate to what the figure is going to end up looking like in the future. The Nemesis is going to be the first ever female Titan figure we're going to get, so this is a huge accomplishment for Hasbro, from starting on not having any girls in the brand to having a whole lot. Now, the Nemesis is going to be able to land by splitting the bomb tail fin so it could just lay flat on the ground, which I think is really good engineering for the Nemesis. Now, the turrets on top of it actually can move side to side, so that shows that they can actually use engineering that works, which is a step better than the Ark. Now, there are some added features in vehicle mode that I actually enjoy, like it has a couple ramps that has Seeker on it. Like the first ramp has Starscream and his Tetrajet form, and the other ramp has Ramjet and Dirge, and I think this was a perfect inclusion of them. Now, for robot mode, I think it looks amazing. And when you put it right next to the Ark, you can see how good they look together. Now, even though I like the Ark personally, I just don't like how it feels. But when you put the Nemesis and Ark together, I think it will go perfect in your collection. So this has to be a must-buy for Titan class figures. Now, the head of the Nemesis I actually enjoy because it is just the Decepticon badge as the head, which we actually saw in the poster. And a cool feature that the head can actually do is it can actually fold together to give the Nemesis a face shield, which I think was a good idea to include. Another accessory that the Nemesis comes with are two blasters that connect to both of its lower legs, which I think is a pretty cool thing, and it also turns into the side wings in vehicle mode. All in all, I love the little details that are in it and all the features that it comes with. And as I said before, this is a must-buy if you're going to get a Titan class figure. And that rounds out all the proper reveals for Transformers Legacy Evolution. But then they brought in Delaney, and she told us about all the new things that were going to be released in Transformers Studio series in terms of pipeline reveals. And unfortunately, we never got any real images of those figures. And the first one is that we're actually going to be getting a Core Class Dark of the Moon Bumblebee, and it's going to be a recolor of the Laserbeak ones. Now, I didn't really like the figure, but since it's going to be in Bumblebee's colors, I may buy it again to see what I think of it now. And for Deluxe Class, they are going to be making a Studio Series 86 Brawn, which I think is kind of cruel since he died in the 86 movie after a couple minutes in. I'm still going to buy this figure because I thought the Bumblebee version of Brawn was such a solid figure, so I know this has to be a solid one as well. And if my memory serves me right, I don't think they ever did a Deluxe Class G1 Brawn, so this will be a first, and I think it's going to be amazing. After Brawn, we have two new things for the Gamer Edition. I don't know why, but I hate that name for it. It should have just been the Studio Edition, or something of that kind of line. But I digress. The first figure is High Moon Studios' War for Cybertron Cliffjumper. Now, this Cliffjumper is going to be a retool of the Gamer Edition Bumblebee. And I think Cliffjumper fits the mold better than Bumblebee. So, does that mean Bumblebee was a pre-tool for Cliffjumper, or is this something else in general? After Cliffjumper, we have War for Cybertron Megatron. And honestly, I'm glad we're going to get a Megatron because you can't have Optimus Prime without his nemesis, Megatron. All in all, as soon as this figure is revealed, I'm going to pre-order it on the day it is out. Because I think this design is way better than the Optimus design for War for Cybertron. Because Optimus Prime had a good deluxe class figure in 2010, but Megatron didn't, so I think this is a good redemption arc for Hasbro. So I'm really looking forward to see what they're going to do with him. Then they decided to throw in a few things for Rise of the Beast. First up in the Voyager class is going to be a Voyager class Rhinox. Now, Rhinox has really been in the shadows because we don't really know that much about him. But what I've seen from the mainline toys, I think the Rhinox is already gonna look good, so I don't know how they can improve on it for Studio Series. After Rhinox, we have a Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a retool of the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime, but it's highly likely because it's already a good figure, so I don't know how you can improve on it. And that's all they really talked about during the live stream. All in all, I think these reveals were amazing, and I hope we are able to see more of these amazing figures later on in the future. And that's it for the video, guys. So remember to like and subscribe and do all that other stuff. And remember to join me on Monday so we can look at the 3-part opener for Transformers Animated Transform and Roll Out.